Why hasn't anyone done anything before? Well, to answer that question, everyone that I have become connected with helping homeless animals has done all we can. We have exchanged information. We have kept information from each other. We have shared resources. And I am as transparent as I can be, and I like to just educate. My name is Ruth, and I live in the same town I grew up in, and it is a wonderful experience. One of the things that I've shared with a lot of people that are not from Texas is how I grew up in this county, top-notch, respecting other people's property and my own property. For instance, is if I went over to someone's home, my parents were sure to tell me, or even my grandparents were sure to tell me, now, don't get off the vehicle and run off into their yard looking at their flowers or their vegetable garden or their livestock. And of course, as a child, I go, but why not? Well, they explained, that is not your property. That is not your land. It's not your land, and you have to ask permission to set foot on it. And as much as I grew up respecting that knowledge and that unspoken rule, when it comes to rescuing animals, I could not figure out that that was the missing link. I have asked questions, have attended workshops, and maybe I just missed the knowledge that when you're rescuing an animal, you have to ask permission. Another, for instance, in 2013, I did a ride-along with a quote-unquote animal rescuer. Now, they made a lot of claims. I did not check them out. So I thought I was in a vehicle with a professional rescuer who was identified as a federal entity with the United States government as a nonprofit. That was all wonderful. I was willing to give the benefit of the doubt until we passed by a home, and this person said, you see that little dog? Which I thought was extraordinarily cute. And I said, yes. And she said, I'm going to take that dog. One of my visceral bodily reactions when I'm kind of shocked is just a lot of different things. But I remember gulping and saying, that dog belongs to someone. I can assure you, especially being from this town for practically my entire life and having seen the practice of letting our dogs run off leash, which nowadays in the 21st century is not a good idea. And I told this woman, please leave the little dog alone. And she told me, in my face, I'm coming back for that dog. And I said, I'm glad you're not going to touch that dog while I'm in your vehicle, because I wouldn't allow that to happen. That dog belongs to someone. That, for instance, is a lot of ways telling of how many of the rescuers I've met. Just because a dog is on a street doesn't mean it doesn't belong to anyone. Now, of course, common sense, more than likely, if it's at I-10 and Bunker Hill on Katy Freeway, the dog needs to be rescued. But if you're passing through a residential street in a town that's got a population of less than 1,000 in the central area, everybody else is spread out in the country, and you see a dog on the street, you can't presume that it's okay for you to steal it. I'm not being judgmental, but that's what I have learned in this field of animal rescue. That if I see a dog, I need to find out who it belongs to. I need to ask questions. I need to ask owners, are you willing to relinquish your dog? Someone once asked me, was I willing to relinquish my dog because he was tethered outside? And I had to volunteer that he's not an outdoor dog, 1,000%. And, of course, in freezing weather, he comes in the home. I did that all to help that person have some peace of mind about my personal business. But had they just came and taken my dog, it would have been devastating for me, and it would have been a criminal trespassing penal code on them. And most recently, I met some new rescuers. Again, when they didn't give me their names, I began to feel like I was being bamboozled. So I decided to get myself some education, and I'm not bragging, so don't twist it like I'm just saying I just Googled and searched and used my own common sense and looked at different examples that are historically publicly posted, talked to people, and then realized I already know this. I grew up knowing it's important to respect other people's property. So just because I see a dog there doesn't give anybody any rights to do anything. So what I'm proposing and I'm asking is to be the best in animal rescue in our town. And I know we can do it because there's so many wonderful, talented people here in Brookshire. But once we get this right, where we know what's supposed to be going on, and we realize we know what we didn't know, then let's carefully make a list of dogs that we're going to secure and get to a rescue. My personal investment is because I've been attempting to make friends with these dogs for quite a while. In July, right before Hurricane Beryl, a property owner gave me permission to come see the dog, one of the dogs, and I saw her with her puppies. She had mastitis, and it just broke me. Okay, I'm not afraid to say it broke me because I'm human and I can only take so much. And I had to take a break for a couple of months. So I do know still the dog's basic routines, but what's happened is someone even smarter than me is willing to fund the rescue of these dogs. And that's wonderful. I just pray that we have enough time, that God gives us the right direction to get this legally in the right way. I like to have results that are protected, not like, oh, you did a great job, Ruth, but you made some fouls, you made some penalties. And I think that this is an opportunity that Brookshire has been waiting for when it comes to animal welfare. Let's do it the way it's supposed to be done. We don't have to like each other. You know, how many EMS personnel work together, drive a truck together, arrive on a scene together, and they fix the person. They worry about life. They don't worry about anything else. And I think that's what animal rescue needs to be, at least here in Brookshire. So I am praying, and I say that loosely right here, but yes, I do believe in prayer. I believe in it. And I'm thankful that I believe in it. And so let's do this right and ask permission and get permission slips. And then you do what you do. The wonderful, gifted warrior princesses that you are, and connections that you have that are impeccable, finding homes and devoting yourself to dogs that you never met before. And I just think that if we don't do it the right way, animal rescuers will always be looked at as clowns.